Hey guys, welcome to an episode of Kerbal Space Program. This isn't a real true episode. I'm going to play, it's kind of a farewell to version 0.20 because I have, 62 flights in progress on year 54 of my save, and I just wanted to show some of the stuff to you guys before 0.21 comes out because, as you may have heard, 0.21 is not backwards compatible. At least that's what I've heard. You can see my orbit is a little busy there. A lot of these are my early attempts at stuff, and I will show you, some of the more interesting things that I have, not the boring things. I do have some space stations, stuff like that to show you. So hopefully you guys will enjoy this as sort of a farewell to version 0.2. A lot of these things I've been intending to do episodes with, but from this I hope you guys can see that I've been playing quite a bit of this, and as such, I think when 0.21 comes out, I'll do some Let's Play videos, or maybe just some, not true Let's Plays, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. This is the space station I have, by the way. It is kind of broken. Actually, part of it broke off, but I'm going to pause the video real quick just to make sure the audio is actually recording correctly, because I don't want to, spend 30 minutes recording this and it not work, so I'll be right back. Alright guys, I am back. Sorry for the brief interruption. As best as I can tell, everything was recording properly. So, as I was saying before, this is Independence Station. This is my first space station I built. It's got a little bit of design flaws, obviously, but I'll tell you a bit more about that. This is one of the more interesting things I have in this world. So as you can see, it was basically a fueling station. I have quite a few of these large fuel tanks up here, as well as quite a few of the RCS probes there. They were initially actually connected to this side. Half of them were, so it wasn't so lopsided as it is now, but that unfortunately broke, and since it wasn't a clamp there, I couldn't fix it. A few other things I do have, I have these worker class ships, which I don't know if you can see quite fully. Let's see, do I have someone in this one? I want to detach one so I can show it to you. Again, I'm just going to show you some of the highlights. I'm not going to show you, everything I have on each and every planet. If I can get a good look at this here. Sorry. Yeah, I have a little bit of trouble here. Well, I'll just describe it to you without actually showing it in action. So basically, from here out to here is a worker class ship. It's a nuclear propelled ship with some RCS. Basically, it's designed to be very high efficiency for tugging things along. That's what I used initially to move some of these things before I added probes to them. I also have my prototype small fighter thing, although it doesn't have any weapons yet. I was working on that, but you can see it right there. I don't think I have anyone. I don't have anyone in the ship at this moment, so I can't really fly it around. But I just want to show you some of the things I've been working on in this version. Sadly, again, all of this is probably going to be lost, but these are the kind of things I want to make for potential future episodes. So let's go back to the Space Center, and I'll show you a few of the other interesting things I built on here. So we have a whole lot of probes. You can see sort of flying around here all sorts of different probes. So all of these kind of eccentric orbits, tilted every which way, those are all space station. No, they're what are they called? Yes, standard Mark something satellites, and different ones. I got up to Mark 7, I believe. So let's see. I'll just zoom out. I want to show you some of the cooler things first. So I think over at Elu, or however you say it, I had something floating around here, unless it crashed. It may have crashed, unfortunately. Well, I did have a ship in this area at some point in time, but perhaps it's been lost. I had it took me forever to get out. There was an ion-powered ship. Well, that's a little disappointing, because I specifically remember not ending that flight. But I thought it was a stable orbit too. It didn't look like it was in a crash, so I don't know why it's not there. Sorry for that unusual sound, by the way. That's my dog kind of, well, snoring, basically. Well, I'll show you this one. This is the Ares 4A. It's basically one of the standard ones that I kind of gently changed. So you can see right here, it's, again, one of the space planes. I got it into orbit, refueled it at the space station, had it docked there for a long time, and got home. I got to Eve. Sorry, took me forever to actually get to Eve. In fact, I actually got lost in interplanetary space and had to send a mission out to refuel it there, which I did probably in the least efficient way ever. So be glad that you were spared having to see that. But I got the guy here, and I was like, okay, I have jet fuel, I can land on Eve, and I didn't think about the fact that Eve doesn't have oxygen, so I actually had to glide down to the surface of Eve with this poor little guy. And of course now he is stranded here with, almost no fuel and definitely no chances of getting home. I mean, the chances of actually landing something here to pick him up, are basically zero. But it is a cool little image there with him just kind of standing there triumphantly / foolishly. But I never ended the flight because I kind of wanted to send a rescue mission, but I decided not to. So let's see if I have anything else interesting in orbit. Again, I don't want to take too much of your time. I'm going to skip most of the boring things. So we have the fuel core probes, a lot of those things. So I have a few flags here. I named them Drifter's Island and Workers' Rest just after both of them were actually Mark II worker class ships that crashed after refueling that Eris that you just saw that was landed on Eve. When they actually flew out and met him, and then I used one of them to take. It was again terribly inefficient, but they both had to crash land. I tried to aero brake poorly. They landed there, and so the one that had drifted around forever I called Drifter's Island, and it was on an island. It landed. The last was Workers' Rest. So that's why I named those ones. And the ships, I'll show you one of them just why not. So here we are. So having some glitches. So yeah, so you can see the ship it's one of these worker class ships. So you can kind of actually see it a bit better now than you could orbiting the space station. Again, there's supposed to be a docking port right there that broke when it landed, as well as some peripheral parachutes, some batteries, solar things, and the nuclear energy engine. Sorry, words are completely failing me today. I think the pilot's still in here, but oh well, we won't worry with that. So let's see if we can go back to the Space Center and see if there's anything else to show. Again, sorry that this is not a terribly focused episode. Again, this is really intended just to be a very, very quick, very, very brief look at these things. So one thing that I did make that is kind of silly. Let's fly it, why not? So this was a different kind of worker I tried to make. Oh no, this is debris from that worker. Well, I can kind of describe it to you anyways. Basically, I wanted to put up 4 workers at a time since launching each one was painful. So I used a bicoupler with 2 more bicouplers to put them all on there, and then got my crew up in this 3-person hatch. Which was also probably the most inefficient way of doing it, because when I decoupled these, all of them went flying. I had to individually jetpack each of the Kerbals via EVA quickly to their locations, and then have all of the workers dock with each other, and then fly to my other space station, which I will show you if it's still in orbit. It should be still in orbit. I think. Yeah, I put a space station Mark II. Let's fly this one. So this was supposed to be my halfway to the moon space station. This was before I kind of realized just how ineffective getting to the moon, by slowly getting your orbit up was. So you can see these worker ships. If you kind of look in here again, I'm forgetting the buttons right now to change the camera center, and I don't want to worry about it right now because I'm just trying to get it as fast as possible. So I think this one is a standard worker with its nuclear engine, which I had to send out here to rescue some of these because they got within a mile, a couple kilometers of this and then weren't working. But these were the basically only RCS powered ones with some nuclear engines. Again, I was trying to be more efficient and having them perfectly balanced. I mean, I even went so far as putting an SAS module and a battery opposite each other, trying to just absolutely optimize it, but it did not work well. But I did get quite a bit of fuel up here, so this is a good refueling point for something that can't quite get back to Kerbin. But really, it's not a very useful place to be, just because getting to the moon from Kerbin, having an actual moon station, again, would probably be more useful, which I did have the starts. So I had, this was I called it the fuel transporter hub. Let's launch this. So basically, this is just fuel for a space station I brought out here. My thought being that, well, perhaps not. Okay, so tiny little bit of fuel left in the back engines, which actually were supposed to be decoupled. I never did. This was meant to refuel the space station here, and I completely screwed up the orbit, and so then I ended up around the moon. Again, the thought being that I eventually did want to make a mooner space station as well. So go to the Space Center again, and sorry again for jumping back and forth between all these, but I just kind of wanted to highlight all of these things while I still can before this all gets deleted. I mean, I will make a backup copy of this, but I'm not going to probably worry. Yeah, I'm probably not going to worry about. Let's see. And you can see here I just have a bunch of satellites orbiting Moho and Kerbin. My goal with those was to put some satellites around every planet. Hadn't quite gotten around to doing all of that, though, unfortunately. Another thing you can see here, I'm not going to click on it, but the nuclear engine module, I was trying to make a modular transport for fuel between Kerbin and the moon or Mun, or however you say it, and unfortunately I lost the engine module and didn't get it to quite work right. So let's see what else we have here. A few of these transporter holes had probe heads that all died, unfortunately, as well. So basically, the story I'm trying to tell you is a whole lot of failures happened, but hopefully, when I do some actual full Let's Plays of this, that will be helpful. So let's look at all the debris we have. I had a ship around Elu, or however you say it. So interesting, on escape trajectory outside of the sun. Might have to take a look at some of that debris as well. So we have a lot of debris here. I just wanted to see if maybe my, yeah, so this was, again, this one. Let's fly this and see what happens. So, oh, this was fuel for the ship. So this was, again, part of the ALU probe I was mentioning. This doesn't look like it's on escape trajectory out of the sun, though. So I got it up to here with, this initial Rockomax booster engine, I think. That's a skipper, I think. And I left it there. So, yeah, I wonder what happened to the ship. Because, again, I had it, I put it at maybe a really dangerously low orbit. I was hoping that maybe, I don't know, maybe it just got deleted. Let's look at the other pieces of debris. Yeah, but I asked my wife if she wanted me to do something, in the game, like something cool, and so she said, give it a shot going out to, like, Pluto, and Ilu, I think, is the closest equivalent in this game to Pluto, so I decided to go for that. I'm trying to see if this is the same one as before. So this is the one that was pretty close to Elu or Ilu, or however you say it. If anyone knows how to properly say it, just let me know. So this was intended to be a lander here. But unfortunately I completely ran out of fuel, so I just decoupled this docking port here, the Clampetron Senior, and sent my pretty pathetic ion-powered ship out there. It took me hours to do. And again, probably in the most inefficient way possible. I am sad, though. The rest of the ship, I renamed the ship too when it was in orbit, so I wonder if it might be. So we have standard, basic debris. Yeah, we have a crap load of debris. As you can see, I have persistent debris on 100%, which is something that if I did a Let's Play, I probably would do, just because I think it adds to the realism of making a mess. It does have the negative side effect of making things much more messy. But, yeah, I guess that's not there, guys. I apologize for that. I wonder what happened to the poor ship. So, so among probes, I don't see anything. I did have a Jewel probe. I think this is one of the ones that. Let me see if this is one of the ones. This was supposed to go to Jewel, and this is, I think, the remnants of it, maybe. Oh no! This was supposed to go. So this is a nearly full Rockomax thing, with a guidance unit, and I didn't put anything to charge it with, unfortunately, and as a result of that, it's just derelict. I don't think I even have any docking ports on it, unfortunately, so there's no way to actually recover this fuel, which basically means that it's completely worthless, even though, that much fuel with a atomic motor could go pretty much, a pretty long way in the game. So I think that might be the last ship I highlight before I show you some of the, what's it called, the prototypes that I've built for things. And I'll show you a prototype of that ALU probe that I had. I'm just very sad that I can't find that probe. Maybe it glitched out or crashed or something, but I had it at like 10,000 kilometers, I think. So a very, very low orbit, but it was, I watched the orbit go several times around and it seemed stable, but I wonder if maybe, speeding it up and something like that, maybe it just disappeared because they estimated. That might be dangerous as well. So, okay, so that's the last of those I'm going to show. So I will show you some of the ships that I made, however. So let's load some of these. So I have, who knows what the auto-saved ones are. A lot of these are very basic things. I started to try to make a carrier. It is fairly comical. So this was my initial attempt at a carrier after watching Macy Dean's things, if it'll load. So I was trying to make a carrier sort of like his. I put way too much crap on the outside of it. It falls apart when you put it in the runway. It doesn't last. So that was my first attempt. And I have a few other attempts that I won't show you because they're not even completed. It was like 500 parts. It just wasn't going to happen. So I think this fuel core probe, this is how I was getting fuel up into space most of the time. So just, kind of asparagus staged of these, and then, have basically dockable, fuel tank there. Fairly simple for getting a large amount of fuel into orbit as quick as possible. So this is the Pluto ship that I built for my wife. And you can see basically this is what it looked like. So a whole bunch of xenon and a xenon ion engine basically were functioning as my backup. I was like, if I can't get out there with everything else that I'll use, I put the telecommunication things on there just for fun, and I put a lot of solar panels. So you kind of saw some of the debris out there. Unfortunately, I will launch this ship real quick just to show you guys how it looks when it's deployed. I think I put some quick tabs on this and stuff. Yeah, let's see. So everything except for, unfortunately, the panels there. So I will have to manually do those. But I wanted to show you how it looks when it's fully deployed. This thing was, again, around ELU, and it was really cool when it was there. I'm disappointed I wasn't able to show it to you guys. And I'm also sad that the poor Kerbal who was around it died. So, but when you look on it head on once it's fully extended, it kind of has a almost organic kind of flower-like look to it. So it was quite impressive around the area. Now, of course, launching it like this is just absolutely worthless. So just have a little bit of fun here before we completely die. I don't think I put any parachutes on it because I didn't have any intention of coming home that way. So we'll just say goodbye to this. Oh, yeah, he's dead. So that's no good. But again, he was going to die anyways because everything's going to be reset in version 2.1. Although I guess if it doesn't get reset, then perhaps his Kerbal death may have been in vain. But again, when we're playing the serious Let's Play, I will try not to kill any Kerbans. But since this is essentially, a fake game now, This was one thing that I wanted to show you. This is the RCS shipment method that I had. So, you might not believe me, but you can actually get quite a bit of RCS into orbit with enough struts. So what you do is you basically, I put a crap load of fuel here and launched all of this off. Most of these get into orbit. You have to use some RCS to get it fully in orbit, and so every time I use a certain amount of RCS, I would transfer the appropriate amount out of one and then detach it to minimize the mass that I was wasting stuff on. And that actually is a really useful way. It's not the most cost-effective way if you're concerned about cost in the game of getting things into orbit, but it is the most launch effective. You get more RCS per launch up there than at least anything else I've been able to build. This is the Monomorium worker swarm. I was trying to be cool with what I was naming things and just kept naming Monomorium is a species of ant that I didn't know about. I googled it. It's basically, I saw these little tiny workers and thought, hey, what would be cool, like a bee class or ant class? I was like, that's stupid. So I wanted like a scientific name. There weren't any real cool names for ants, and so that's what I got. So unfortunately, this doesn't work very well because these clip through each other. Some, and when you actually decouple them, they have parts break off and stuff like that. But I'm working on some of these things that I think I'll do highlight videos for in the next version as well once we get that through. So let's see what else we have here. Space station cores. So I have a few basic things here. So the Mark 7 satellite that I have here, there's a lot of parts, and it probably would slow down a computer if you didn't have too much computer power. But basically, this one actually does work this way because it's so small. These are fairly high-powered things. They have, I think, 4 or so xenon fuel canisters, and a bunch of big batteries, and a bunch of solar panels there as well, so you can get them pretty much anywhere. I launched several of them at Duna, I think last time I was playing, although I don't know if I actually managed to get any of them to capture. So that's something that I'll probably try to make an equivalent of in the 2.1 again. And let's see if there's anything else here worth mentioning. So I think that's it for those, and I'm going to see if I have any space planes worth showing as well. You might see I have some of Macy Dean's downloads in here as well, his battle cruiser and all that stuff, because they're just fun. Of course, I'm not going to use his work in any of my videos, but I did want to put a shout out there because his stuff is pretty awesome. If you haven't seen it, you really should. So I was trying to make a VTOL. I don't want to waste your time with this. So I don't know if you've ever heard of Spruce Goose. It's a wooden plane that never flew. It was giant and stupid, and I tried to make, my thought was, well, why not make a giant stupid plane with one of the mainsail engines? This does not work at all. I tried to even put, wheels on the end so when it turns to the side it would stabilize, but it's just, I don't know if it's possible to do. I think it would be kind of cool if you could make a plane that had a single mainsail. Obviously wouldn't fly very far or very well, but it would be kind of interesting to see. If anyone has done that, let me know, but I was not able to do it. Let's see. This is a fuel lifter I downloaded from someone. This is not my work. I don't know who did this. I'm sorry, I can't give the credit where credit's due. This is much more elaborate than the one I made. I can't even see it. So, hold up. So this is their fuel lifter. I don't claim to be able to make anything nearly that massive or cool. So I don't know who did that. Again, I downloaded it off of like the file share Kerbal thing. But that was pretty cool. So I think that's most of the ships that I have to show. So yeah, I hope you guys liked some of the things I built. Again, this is not meant to be the most crazy awesome episode ever. It's just me showing some of the things that I've built in the past, so you guys will have kind of a clue as to the kind of things that I'm going to try to do in future episodes. So I'm probably not going to do any 2.1 videos until it comes out, whenever that is. But even after it comes out, probably a little while. So if you guys have any ideas, now would be a really good time to let me know the kind of things that you might want to see. Do you want to see, the 20-30 minute long Let's Play videos of me actually launching stuff? Do you want me, having post-editing, recording things? Kerbal Space Program is a game that takes a lot of thought when you're doing stuff, and, even so much as docking stuff is really a lot more complicated when you're trying to talk at the same time. So I would be curious to know, do you guys want to see, again, pure Let's Plays where it's just straight commentary with video? Do you want to see, voiced over, like, hey, I pre-recorded this and talked over it? Do you want to see just completed projects, like 1 to 5 minute, like, highlights of, like, here's the space station I built type things, or more storyline type things? I'm not nearly as creative as Macy Dean and people like that, but I could probably make some very basic storyline type showcases of stuff. So I don't know, any ideas you guys have? And if you don't want to see any more Kerbal Space Program, that's fine too. Just let me know. Sorry for that noise. That's my dog shaking because he was taking a nap and he woke back up. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching. Again, sorry this was kind of a rambly video, but I just wanted to get all of this into one under 30-minute episode before it all gets not deleted, but lost for my accessibility for all intents and purposes. So anyways, guys, thank you for watching. Again, please comment and let me know what you think and your ideas. And until next time, have a great day. Later.